We've had many conversations before, but I think today being here at the festival is a celebration by itself. And Reena, we talked a lot about fashion. In fact, you were one of the few, I think, the pioneers in fashion. We heard about fashion. You had to hear about Reena Dhaka. So a little bit about your story, how it all began. And at that time, maybe fashion was not such a industry the way it is now. So
that this is a long one.
Short answer.
Short answer. So fashion, when it began, Delhi was actually the capital of fashion when we all began. It was in the early 90s. And there was nothing in India to be calling you a fashion designer. Then that initial thought you had that how do you establish a brand. Mostly labels were then called with romantic names or poetic names. So to call the clothing line by your own line, it was still a risk. And Bombay and Delhi became one, both in terms of fashion designers and in terms of models. And Indian Airlines used to be our car or our cargo to go to and fro for meetings, for work, or to bring the girls back here for shows. Fashion has really come a long way and very fast in India. It's almost like wildfire now, with so many schools of fashion, so many talented students being belted out. But when we began, there was nothing. There was just a few of us, maybe 6 or 7 of us.
And then comes Anjul Bhandari, I think. So Anjul, tell us, pick up the story from after where Reena left, and what is the current situation now? Of course, fashion is not just runways and red carpets. It's every wedding, I think every evening party in Delhi is a fashion statement by itself.
Priya, thank you for having us over, and thank you so much for this beautiful award. It's always a pleasure to be here. So as Reena just put it across, that these guys were the pioneers of fashion. They are the guys who brought us to actually understand that there is a world of fashion which is beyond Master G. And there is absolutely something else which you could create. This was a platform where creativity could flow, also could flow. It was not only about Master Ji, aapko kaat ke denge piece, to wo salwar jo hai, tedi bane ya seedhi bane, to wo. That is where the designer bit came in. But today, as you rightly said, it's just all over the place. And if we come to look at it, the way the multi-designer stores have come up, the individual stores have come up, I have come to a place that we are standing at a pedestal where I think each and every person today can afford a designer outfit. Starting from a price range of 10,000 rupees going up to wherever your imagination can go, you can buy an outfit, which is great, absolutely. And somewhere down the line, that whole system, I'm not saying that it was bad or it's still not there. It's still there, but that whole idea of going to Chandni Chowk with your mother to buy your wedding lehenga has somewhere slowed down, because you can actually go and pick up something which fits you well from wherever you want, which is great.
Isha, would you like to come in on this conversation and also tell us, a bit about what you do, the kind of clothes, the kind of label?
So my brand is actually a rose room where I feel it's the Indian silhouettes meet the French laces and the fabrics. So it's a perfect romantic story. It's for the women who are confident, who are fashion forward, well-traveled. So it's actually a modern day bride. So that's the whole philosophy behind my brand.
Which is fashion and design, I think, is not just limited to clothes and couture and all, but also to the way we do up our houses, the way we do up our offices, the way we live, and that is when Namita comes in, really. So what does Visma Eatres do? A bit about, how you started it, and, and what kind of design is really in now? Because, we heard Anjul talk about everyday, fashion is now more accessible. So is design also more accessible in terms of architect?
So just a little bit of my background. Very much like Reena, I started off years and years ago. And at that time, there was far and few people who did kitchens. And that's what I started off with. And from there, it grew. And then I started manufacturing furniture. And about 10 years ago, we forayed into the international market. And now we represent about 18 European brands in India. That's our journey so far. However, as far as interiors is concerned, let me tell you, we always have treated luxury in terms of, and with full due respect to, to fashion design, but we've treated luxury for jewelry, we've treated luxury in terms of cars, we've treated luxury in terms of clothes. But luxury has never really been part of the furniture industry. I think today I find that there is a lot of change in that. I have always treated, a home as a temple. You come into your home, that's your place, it's your sanctum sanctorum. It's your place where you are comfortable, it's your safe zone, and that safe zone, to make it a haven, it does not need a lot of money, it just needs a lot of love, and it needs a lot of your personality reflecting in it, and that is what we try and do it with my Atria. We try and reflect our client's personality, and we try and create a lifestyle and a living space that works for each person individually.
But Reena, you've moved now, I think also reinventing yourself. We talk about fashion, but I've heard you also talk about refashion, sustainable fashion. Can you tell us a bit about that?
But before that, this came to my head. I couldn't control myself. When you said Chandni Chowk and you talked of the past, in the early days when we used to go to Chandni Chowk, because you had to, they only sold material and they wrote their shops' names as Banarsi Das and Sons from the generations they came. If you go, then when we started, the designer became important or heard about, it became designer wear, designer, however. Today when you go to Chandni Chowk, they are pulling you in. You can't walk. They say designer lenge lo, designer ye lo. Everything is rallying on the word designer. So Chandni Chowk's optimum sale point and sale pitch works on the word designer. So yes, we can take a bow to that, all of us. We have created great value for a lot of people in the planet, thanks to that. Yes, refashion has become very important. Because men, you guys are actually the inspos here. I'll tell you why. Excuse me, but Peter Repeater is a good word in today's world. The queens, from Kate herself, when she repeats an outfit, the media talks about it and considers her to be doing something which can relate to a conscious choice to save the earth. And in our city, we have the worst of Katran landfill. If you go towards Sultanpur, there are mountains and mountains of just wastage left out of export factories, which have grown over time, and they look like hills and mountains, but they are just rough Katrans. And I think today's press has carried something about some fires in some of them. So yes, we all have to learn to make the key piece important, to re-wear our clothes, to refashion them, and designers, even ourselves, everyone is now offering those services so that you can bring value to pieces and not discard them. Go back to the old world where the dadis sari became the razai or the patchwork painting. I don't know, it never went anywhere. And then the Raddiwala also took it and he recreated it. But we need to go back to that system because it is in a mess, our lives. And every day we cry about our affairs in this city. They will not change till we start taking the first steps. So yeah, repeat your clothes and refashion and wear them.
In fact, Anjal, that's what I find also, you also talk a lot about, that heavy wedding lehenga is which you wear once and then put it in the cupboard. As she said, maybe your granddaughter will have a different taste or your daughter won't have the same taste. But the fashion, the clothes that, you all are making now are something you can wear on your wedding, you can wear it for a dinner, for a cocktail. So that, as she's saying, repeat is also part of your...
So very rightly said, today the key word is repeat. That is a very important thing. So considering that, the kind of work I do is 100% an heirloom kind of work because I only do one kind of craft. I'm not doing fashion, I'm not doing fast fashion, I don't do any Pret. So I'm doing absolute luxury and I'm doing something which is going to keep on repeating itself. So you can probably pick up a shirt and wear it with a plain pair of trousers or team it with the same pant which I've given it to you and wear it for somebody's wedding. So that's the whole key. You have to be, and the girls have become very conscious of the fact that when they come to us and they ask us, they've already done their homework. They know that they want something which is craft-based, which is more sustainable, and they want to save the planet, which is great. So half the work is done by these Gen Z brides, and they've done quite a bit of homework if they've reached us. If they're not coming to us, then obviously you're not in that rut yet. But yes, if you're reaching us, then you have your mind very straight that you're doing something which is absolutely an heirloom, which is something which is sustainable. So a piece which I would make would probably go down generations, because you can just pull it out. A chicken curry piece which your mother would have owned or your grandmother would have owned is going to be the same piece, maybe with a different color, down to your daughter. And chicken curry being such a clean embroidery, you can actually change your color 2 to 3 times if you've got the right product with you. So that's what I say, and that's what I always like to say. And also because I just do one of a kind, so there are no repeats. So if you have that one, you have just that one. We don't have the other one. So that's the whole USP of buying the craft.
Okay. What is the, accessible fashion, sustainable fashion, your take on that?
For me, to be honest, what Anshul just said, I totally believe what she just said, because it has to be generational. And even when I create my bridal wear, I make sure that it can be passed on to the daughters or the daughter-in-laws. So I mainly, as I said, I mainly work on laces, and they are very, very intricate. And, there's, of course, I give my clients and the brides instructions about how to keep them well. But yes, I mean, it's nothing more special than you owning your mom or a mother-in-law's, special. Yes, why not? For sure.
May I just interrupt
Yes.
here? So my daughter got married about 5 years ago, and she actually repurposed my wedding lehenga and wore it. And it was done with a fresh dupatta and with a fresh blouse, but she redid the lehenga. The lehenga was obviously touched up a little bit, but yes, she did repurpose it. And when I told her, why don't you want to go out and buy a new one? She said, Mom, this has more sentimental value to me, which I think was a really beautiful thought.
Yeah, which is actually, that is true, because and I think today's kids have that, I think there was one generation that was more into spending and buying, but this generation is also more into conserving and carrying on the story. But one quick thing about design is, from what I can gather, I'm not one of, as you can make out, all of you are so, I'm not a fashion, but is minimal back in, is that the thing? The over the top is, even in terms of architect, even in terms of interiors.
So, in interior design and in architecture, I don't think anything is in or out. It's your personality that needs to reflect, Priya. I can create 50 homes that are Namita Kohli, but am I really creating a home that says Priya? That's the point. So anything that works for you, if it is done with the right proportion and with the right balance, I think there is no maximalism or minimalism in design today.
Are you all wearing your own designs? I think you are.
We tried.
We tried.
So I would have to wear a chair. I don't think I can.
Yeah, except we should have asked you to bring the chair.
I can make you a chair to wear.
But, Reena, there's also been a lot of criticism, and we've had a conversation, I think Anjul and you and I, on this size zero, this whole pressure by designers. I don't know whether I should hold you both also accountable. But now do you see, I mean, I believe you are making larger sizes and all that. So just this whole size zero, is that now passé?
Now in shows, it's important to be inclusive. And I was once long back, I'm talking of maybe 2008 to 2012 window, I can't remember. I was doing Fashion Week in London. So at the gates of outside of Victoria and Albert Museum, -0, there are all these plus size women making in fishnets, and it's London, so they're braving that cold, and so big and so beautiful, and the police are all there to stop them because they're protesting. They were the first warriors to put the bigger size models on the runways to say that why are we not included in fashion? Why are we outcasts? So there was a huge uproar about it, and over time the revolution went on to become a reality. I have gone on to do plus size shows myself, where for just the casting of the plus size show, 300 participants showed up. They wanted to be cast in a 20 model show. So there is no more size bias, but then of course, paradox, Ozempic has hit, you know that, the world, and suddenly you see these people who were like XXXXL suddenly becoming in minuses. So in a matter of 30 days, it's very hard to believe otherwise.
I would like to add something on the same subject. At my last 2023 India Couture Week, I actually decided to be taking, the plus size models, and I promise you, the way they owned the ramp. I mean, they wore my lace corset. I said, "Can I give you something like a kaftan?" She said, "No, I would like to wear a corset," and she truly owned the ramp. So yeah, that's changing for sure.
On plus size, clothes, Angela is looking at me like...
I always believed in a normal size. As a brand, I have never made a small. If you go onto my rack, you don't see a small size. I only start from a large. So for me, it's irrelevant what size you are. So if you are a small, I will have to bring you down. So you've got to be ashamed that you're small. I'm so sorry, but we are Indian women and we like to be the way we are. We like our parathas if we are here. We'd like to be known and seen the way we are.
Yes.
So I don't do it. I don't take orders on large and extra large because they are available off the rack.
Well said. That gives... I'm coming straight to your shop, Anjul. But Namita, in whether it is design or whether it is fashion or any kind of design, the individual, as you said, you cater to the individual taste. How accessible is it in terms of who are the kind of people who are coming to you? Is it just celebs or is it professionals?
So Priya, I think interior design has really come a long way, and people now value you as a professional, because they do realize, I think post-COVID there has been a big change, because people stayed home a lot and they actually realized that, look, if we can spend on an expensive holiday, if we can spend on an expensive flight, if we can spend on expensive clothes, then here is something that we're going to be living, and we're going to be living in the room. I have found people are ordering mattresses that are expensive. You never heard of that. People always did up their formal living area or their dining area or their entrance foyer. But the bedroom, they always said, kuch bhi laga dena, purana use kar lena. Now they're saying, I don't mind spending the money on a mattress, hang the dining room where I'm not going to, where I'm going to be entertaining people. I do that once in a year or twice in a year, but I'd rather spend on myself. So I think that kind of has changed a lot, and it's for the better, because we are living and we are enjoying every moment. So the kids today, even all of us today, even with our slightly older ideologies, are spending on experiential times, and to be experiencing the luxury rather than just be looking at it.
Also, I want you all to share maybe your fashion faux pas, Reena. Anything that, all of you I want. Something that you designed that just didn't, was so bizarre, or a bizarre request that you got, which went against,
We've made so many, my God. Daily there is a faux pas. So wardrobe malfunction, as you know, is one of the faux pas, because sometimes on fashion shoots and on runways, time is of it's tight. It's like goes into seconds, especially for a model. And in fashion weeks where the shows are budgeted, which means you're just next. So the girls have to do so many looks in a certain day. I have had, when you alter especially a garment, sometimes things can go wrong, or a snap when you tie it too tight of a halter blouse or a bustier. We've done a lot of Oh God, wardrobe malfunction is a horror. We should write a book on it. Where is Lakshmi ji? We should seek her help because in this room and in this audience, I can find so many of us who will have millions of malfunction stories of how we've quickly covered up. I invented the slit petticoat long back. You guys young. So I wore an organza sari on it in the early days. I sat on a wedding and I had a young son. And my father came running to me. Oh, beta, petticoat phat gaya hai. I said, nahi, nahi, phata nahi hai. Is my slit? So there are, like I thought he was going through hell, that he had to pull me out and wrap me up for that. But yeah, fashion is all about wardrobes. And there is a law now, you know, I'm sorry, I'm taking everybody's time, in Mumbai. It's different from Delhi, wherein a model walking a runway can expose the hip, but not the front. Then designer, the authorities all go behind bars.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, quick
no
last.
clue about that. I had no clue about that.
Before you get hold of. Anjul, any fashion faux pas that you'd like to share?
You actually, like she said, Reena said that there are so many of them normally, but you have people coming up with bizarre requests, which, you know, so many times when these girls come from abroad, they have so many things to say, like, I want to wear a lehenga, which is very traditional, and this, that, whatever. And in all of that, you can have the mother, who's a very traditional woman, get up and say, beta, main to gown pehnungi. Aapke paas agar gown hai, to main pehn sakti hu. और अगर आप उसके ऊपर दुपट्टा लगा दो तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. So you have bizarre. I mean, please wear a suit, please wear a lehenga, please wear a sari. Why do you want to wear a gown and wear a dupatta on top of it? Is not something I understand. So you do get bizarre requests all the time. So
any bizarre requests that you've got?
I'm not from my clients, but most definitely from the stylist when they tell me that it's a couture outfit. Can you just, we need it for A-lister celebrity, and can you give it to us in one day? I'm just speechless then.
Normally, so what is your answer on that? Because I normally say that I don't have a glue machine which I can do it with.
I'm just speechless. This doesn't happen.
That's because the stylists didn't study in fashion factories. They didn't go to school. So they just
also
became...
you have to remember, you have people coming up to you and speaking about your craft and saying, I'm wearing a beautiful chicken curry outfit. So they know no difference between a chicken curry and a chicken curry. That's what they are for.
Namita, you end with the most bizarre request that you've had.
So this actually is a really funny one because the client told me that they wanted a 5-foot bed. So I said, great. I said, you want a 5-foot bed this way, but are we taking 6.5 feet this way? And he said, no, I want 5 feet by 5 feet. So I said, this is for a grown-up human being. Normal bed size is 6 by 6. You want 5 by 6. He said, no, I want 5 feet by 5 feet. Then he drew 6 feet this way and 6 feet this way. So we actually had to make him a patang-shaped bed.
Okay.
Honestly, that's God's own truth.
Well, more on that inside stories, but we're out of time. So thank you all for coming and sharing with us.
So much.
Always a pleasure to have you on the panel. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.